see CC Jesters do a reverse sweep. Does CC Jesters come out of this one swinging after the 1-0? All right. Well, that was a good one, guys. That was a good one. All right. We see cash out again. I think we'll see the exact same setup out of all of them at this point. Ooh, Tyrion going greed here. Okay, so double greed out of Tyrion in green versus the exact same setup on Shadow and Joke. Interesting setup here by Shadow to go with the split like this. I do believe this leaks to a snail. But I'm curious. I guess this is the Chaos setup because he wants to make sure he has this for wave 5. Alright, so we see 20s across the board. No send into Green Spirit and Tyrion. I think at this point, they are looking for more of a long savey game. Looking for more of a long savey game. I think that's realistically the way to go for Shadow and Joke. That's Shadow's playstyle, right? Always has been, always will be. I think the man is just a monster when you give him the save potential, right? We do see the worker advantage out of Shadow and Joke here. One worker up on green, which makes sense. Green can't even get the worker. So it really doesn't matter too much. That being said, the single snail will not leak the double atoms. But we'll kind of see. I actually don't know. It does look like he holds, in my opinion. Yeah, it does look like a hold. We do see the lizard coming out now, as well as lizard snail out of Shadow. Let's see here. What does green have to hold here? Looks like he has either a cat, which seems to be the case of what he goes, or he also had the opportunity to go for a Seraphim setup. We do see the steed coming out of Tyrion, which just tells me that his role is disgusting, and he needs to feel bad for it. Because Steed Adams with Disciple and Boar is gross, and he should feel bad about it. That being said, I think the double stack cat might be enough to hold here. The cat getting aggro from the lizard kind of just, I think, slows down slows down the lizard from being able to burst down the nightmare, and so it just isn't much of a problem. That being said, only a snail into Joke here, and double snail into Shadow is a pretty easy hold for him. Shadow going to a 7 worker here, Joke at 6. So Shadow and Joke do have the advantage here worker-wise. We do see Joke resending here. Which I do think is a little bit curious. I'm not sure if the DT leaks him. I guess the idea might be that if he goes Chain Fist, it would stop the Chain Fist from being able to... Oathbreaker, I should say, not Chain Fist. Chain Fist being able to hold or survive. I think it also just might be an income send, hoping that Joke can then in turn hold on 7, because Joke does not have the Butcher, whereas Green Spirit does. So I think that does change things quite a bit. We'll see here. We do see Shadow and Joke sending here. Green and Tyrion not going here. Green could be saving for after income imps. Does not go. Tyrion is also not going. Interesting. Well, I think Green is going to be very upset and saddened to see that a Yuzora got dropped instead of a Butcher, because it seems like he thought that Green was going to be weak here, weak next or something of the sort. And that being said, Green is dead. So long as Green doesn't aggro the Dino, and he does. So I would say this is poetic karma. So I had a game against Green yesterday or the day before, and my Nightmare decided to YOLO hit the Dino as the first unit after the boss. Decided to YOLO hit it, and I leaked 90-some%. Now, Green Spirit can feel the pain of your Nightmare YOLO hitting on to a unit. Okay? It's not very fun, guys. It's not fun. That being said, we see Shadow and Joke resending here. Green Spirit and Tyrion saving. So it seems like the tables have been a little flipped. The script has been reversed. Green Spirit and Tyrion going for the any percent speed run on how fast they can kill Shadow and Joke here. I think they got a little bit chapped-assed about the fact that they died on wave 7 last time, and they're like, you know what, guys? If you want to save to wave 7, I can save to wave 7. And they're going for the kill there. So Shadow and Joke now kind of in a precarious position. They're going to be pretty undervalued. That being said, Tyrion is leaking, which is kind of actually a bad thing for him. Shadow and Joke don't want the leak at this point, especially with the saves coming in. And we do see Green Spirit sending the trusty old Mimic. I think this is almost a direct response to how last game went. You got a Mimic? Well, guess what, guys? I got a Mimic. And we do see Tyrion sending an Ogre. Oh my, oh my. The Ogre by Tyrion into Shadow, I don't see any way, shape, or form that Shadow is going to be able to hold an Ogre. It's just such an insane send. We do see the income send out of Shadow here. I think there's a way, shape in hell that Green Spirit's Mimic doesn't necessarily kill Joke. Joke's got pretty good tanks on the wave. That being said, I do think the spell is much needed. The Mimic going, surprisingly just deciding to run right there at the very end. The Mimic getting 3 gold so far. So we'll kind of see how this goes. And you do see that the entirety of the left-hand side died before Mimic even came to the right. So one positive, I guess, is that the Mimic didn't get that much value gold-wise. That being said, the Mimic not dying. Oh no. Poetic Justice right back to Joke. Not getting the Mimic kill. Absolutely tragic. That is, what, 36 gold that he's dropping out on, right? Had the Mimic not gotten targeted, he probably kills a handful more creeps and gets a lot more gold, right? And so putting the Mimic that low without getting the kill is just feels bad, man. Very much so. And so while the Mimic didn't get that much gold, the loss of the income, the gained gold by Joke is relatively speaking pretty bad. We do see, though, at the end of the day, that kind of just evened the playing field, really. Joke and Shadow have better income prior to that wave, right? So not necessarily a huge issue. And if you look at the overall value, Green and Tyrion are now just slightly ahead. They're not crazily ahead. So I don't think it's necessarily as big of a deal, obviously, as what happened last game on Wave 7, where it was the finisher. But we'll kind of see how it goes. Green was able to re-roll into Holy Avenger. So are we going to see Green Spirit, Holy Avenger, Butcher Part 2, Electric Boogaloo? It does seem to be potentially the case. We don't really have any offensive spells here, mostly defensive, right? We see the Dark Ritual, Embargo, and Investment. So Dark Ritual potentially for a hold onto 11. So I don't anticipate Shadow and Joke ascending on 11 necessarily, just because I don't see anyone really ascending on 11, just because I don't think that people are going to want to send into Dark Ritual potential. That being said, Investment is nice. Investment is nice because of the fact that there is potential for things to go different. That being said, I just noticed now, Joke re-rolled and got Butcher, but dropped Yuzora. Interestingly enough, in my opinion, I would have kept Yuzora with his roll and dropped something else. Yuzora is a phenomenal tank for Nightmare, but I digress. We do see sends out of Green and Tyrion, which is more what I anticipated. I anticipated more of a 10 send than I would a 11 or 12 because of the Dark Ritual. We do see Shadow getting a Halo last wave, I believe it was. So he's pretty, technically speaking, pretty strong here. Tyrion sending some frontline, though, to stop Shadow's Radiant Halo from getting damage in. We do see Green sending a Pack Butcher, not Pack Butcher, a Pack Brute, which is pretty good at countering what Green's got. Joke's got so far. So we'll kind of see how Shadow does here. Shadow and Joke. The Pack getting targeted is not too bad, right? It does kill the Pack at least, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, because it does look like there's going to be some king damage here. The Pack surviving might have actually killed Shadow and Joke, but I think this might be game either way. The 10 sends I thought were kind of going to be the thing, and 58% king, no king damage upgrades. That's game. GG's. That went a little differently than I anticipated. Green Dwarf does come out with the win. A little bit different than I anticipated, though. I did not see the 10 send into no send, right? I didn't think Shadow and Joke were going to save there, though I guess they're in a position where you kind of have to go for a little bit of a save to try to leak your enemy, right? The enemy's got a a little bit better of a roll, a little bit of a tempo advantage. And I think that's kind of all it really takes, right?